Kansas judge is allowing 5 transgender Kansans to intervene in a case deciding whether or not the state can ban gender changes on driver's licenses.
The decision came this afternoon following a lawsuit over gender marker changes from Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach.
KSHB 41's Grant Stevens talked with people right here in the metro who say their voice will finally be heard.
I wake up every day excited just to be me, and that didn't happen for decades.
A small change, a single letter at the bottom of a license, was the punctuation to Hazel Krebs' transition to happiness.
That together feels like the government knows who I am. The world knows who I am. It's all aligned as Hazel, female. This is who I am.
The Kansas Department of Revenue can't articulate a situation like that alone. It's why a judge allowed 5 transgender Kansans to intervene and lend their voice to the case.
It humanizes the issue for the courts and for the public. It shows that we're not just talking about arcane civil procedure or statutory interpretation rules. We are talking about people's lives.
The ACLU says it changes the dynamic of the arguments. Attorney General Chris Kobach will now have to justify his interpretation of SB 180 statutorily and constitutionally.
They were hoping to intervene in this case to be able to explain that to the court and to assert their constitutional right to have a identification document that is accurate.
An example of a core element to that argument: whenever Krebs is carded, she's outed.
Whenever there's a discrepancy, I have to explain it when, everyone else could just walk in.
And isolated.
I have to do this when non-trans people don't have to do this.
While attorneys argue, a clock ticks. Krebs' license expires in 6 months.
My understanding is that it will revert. So while we say they're stopping the change, it actually, for me, changes it back to the wrong gender.
She and the roughly 400 other Kansans who have changed their gender marker will be watching this case closely. Now, they'll hear their voice represented.
We want to live our lives as we are, rather than have to explain who we are and always have that conversation every single time.
We also reached out to Attorney General Chris Kobach to see how things will go moving forward. He said the primary legal question remains the same. Does a state agency have to follow the plain meaning of a law passed by our duly elected legislators? With respect to the constitutional challenge raised by the ACLU, we look forward to rebutting their novel theories in court. Grant Stevens, KSHB 41 News.
A push to reconnect the West Bottoms to the heart of Kansas City, Kansas.